The first day of my trip to Kuranda was full of spectacle. The first night even more so. Needless to say, I was keen to see what the rest of the trip would have in store for me. So, without further ado, here is day 2. I kicked off the morning with a run, and even when moving at high speed and not really paying all that much attention to my surroundings, I still had a couple of interesting wildlife encounters. On a footpath right next to a road, an absolutely splendid beetle called Heterophallus dubulei was slowly ambling along in plain sight. These magnificent creatures belong to a subfamily within the scarab beetles known as the Setoniinae, or flower chafers. As the common name would suggest, they visit flowers for pollen and nectar, so I guess we have ourselves an instance of the common name not being completely useless. They are also diurnal, in other words active during the day, hence why I didn't need to go spotlighting at night to find this one. And much less conspicuous than the Heterophallus, another Pandercetes gracilis. This one was a tad easier to notice than usual, as she was slightly propped up on her legs as opposed to lying flat against the surface of the trunk, in which case she would have been much more difficult to notice. And a very, very common sight in North Queensland, Oecophylla smaragdina, the green weaver ant. And these ones are living up to their name right now, temporarily holding leaves together with their legs and mouth parts so that other ants carrying their larvae which produce silk can adhere them together more permanently. The bulk of this day's events took place not in Kuranda, but nearby Cairns Botanic Gardens. And although the day was fairly uneventful, by nightfall the area was teeming with wildlife. Right, I'm trying to film some beautiful scenery shots here of the night time. On the left hand we can't see shit, on the right hand we can't see shit. Here is a Heteropoda of some sort, possibly Heteropoda jugulans. Very, very familiar sight both in Cairns and down in Brisbane, but still worth filming nonetheless. And where even is it? Oh, there. Somehow you're able to stay off camera without even moving. Okay, so here we got a net casting spider. This is not in the genus Deinopidae like the last netcasters I featured, and the reason I can tell that is it doesn't have the greatly enlarged median eyes present in the genus Deinopidae. But apart from that, it is very, very similar, and as you can quite clearly see, hunts in the same sort of manner. It'll wait in that position until an insect or some other small animal crawls beneath, at which point it will cast that silken net on top of its prey. Over here we got another Deinopidae, and again this is one of the small-eyed species, so not genus Deinopidae, and oh, of course, yeah, I'm pretty, yeah, thank you pilot, thank you. Mom, you work at the airport, can you put a stop to this for me, please? Okay, so as I was saying before that plane decided to interrupt us, this is again one of the Deinopids that isn't in the genus Deinopidae because its eyes are not as freakishly large. Here we got ourselves a leaf-curling spider, which has a pretty self-explanatory common name. And, oh yeah, that's it, run and hide while I'm talking about you. Did anyone ever teach you about manners, young lady? Greet, for fuck's sake. Dare I say that this spider needs no introduction on this channel, but nevertheless, this is a big female Holconia immanis, the giant banded huntsman. The name immanis means enormous, which is pretty self-explanatory. These are some very impressively sized spiders. Oh, you bastard. Oh, I can still see you. Yeah, see, you got a very fat ass. That makes it very hard for you to hide. What, maybe it's a white-lipped tree frog? I don't know.
Again, right? Like something
not familiar with... not familiar with any ones. Hi, how are you? You may not have heard my tentative identification over the chit-chat, But this is indeed a white-lipped tree frog, properly known as Nyctimystes infrafrenatus. It is in fact also the world's largest tree frog species, and ironically the first one I actually found on a tree. Time to get some low quality nighttime footage.
You want this light on?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, thank you. Is that another white-lipped tree frog? I think so. Here we have possibly the only creature in the area that is skinnier than I am, and over here, an adorable young raspy cricket. I say adorable now because once they've grown up, well, if you handle one of them, you're probably going to have to count your fingers afterwards. This is a species of orb-weaver. Jesus Christ, mate. This is a species of orb-weaver called Nephilengys papuana. These belong to the subfamily Nephilengys, so the same subfamily as the golden orb-weavers in the genus Nephila and Trichonephila. But unlike these, they don't spin the same distinctive golden webs. However, just like the golden orb-weavers, as you can see here, there is some extremely substantial sexual size dimorphism. That male is an adult, and he's only a fraction of the female's size. Now this spider is sometimes known as... This spider is sometimes known as the stop sketching out your... Oh, is it hunting? It's hunting. She got some food. Excellent. So anyway, this spider is sometimes known as the detachable penis spider, because when they mate, the male's reproductive organs, the pedipalps, will break off and stay stuck in the female. Over here, the nymph of... Wow, that's bright. Over here, the nymph of Ostrosalamona destructive, the destructive katydid. As adults, these are a really bright green with a yellow belly. Nymphs, they're quite a lot more cryptic. Got ourselves a very leggy little customer here, Heteropoda longicornis. This is a member of the centipede order Suonatore, which are the long-legged centipedes. And this particular species is quite likely to be the largest Suonatore in Australia. Unlike any other centipedes, these Suonatore have large compound eyes, so vision is a much more important sense for these centipedes than for other centipedes like scolopendromorphs. If there is one species on this channel that needs absolutely no introduction whatsoever, it is Ethmostigmus rubrupes. And this fellow looks like it's caught itself a meal. I wonder what it is. Oh, it's a gecko. Is it a gecko?
Give it a tickle.
Yeah, look, with my allergy, I think my centipede handling days are over. Yeah, rubrupes. Big old rubrupes.
Gecko. Yeah. What species of gecko? A dead one.
Centipedus sustenensis. No idea. The genus Ethmostigmus can be readily identified by that very... Get out of my way, torch. Oh, that's right, I'm holding it. By that very large anterior spiracle. So the pair of spiracles at the front, they're those breathing holes. In Ethmostigmus, the foremost one is significantly larger than the rest. Absolutely beautiful centipede, and the first decent-sized centipede I found on this trip. What an absolute beauty. This is none other than Australia's largest orb-weaving spider, Nephilengys, the giant golden orb-weaver. And this one is actually not fully grown, it's still only a juvenile, and it's already about the same size as our other two golden orb-weaver species. Incredibly beautiful spider. Hopefully I'll find an adult later in the trip. Another young grylacridid here. This one's quite vibrantly coloured. Again, not entirely sure what it is down to genus or species level. Over here we got Parawixia dehani. This is sometimes known as the abandoned web orb-weaver due to its habits in the daytime, where it will leave its web empty and hide in a position somewhere off to the side of the web. Something a little bit different, and yes, I'm sure inappropriate jokes are forming in all of our minds. This is Phallus multicolor. It's a species of stinkhorn fungus. They possess a netted veal known as an indusium. Not very pronounced in these specimens, but in some cases it can be really quite spectacular to look at. We got two rather interesting fellows here. We've got Ethmostigmus rubrupes, of course, up on the top. And down here, an Ostrosalamona, and I think that deciding to chill so close to a giant centipede, it could only be scientifically described as an idiot.
Bug wars.
Oh yes, monster bug wars. Who will win, a centipede or a katydid? Place your bets. We've got a young scrub python here. I say young, still a pretty sizable snake. As the night continued onwards, we headed back toward our initial meeting area near the entrance of the gardens. But there was still one more activity to do there. We had previously set up a few light sheets and had left them on throughout the duration of the walk. Now it was time to revisit them to see what sorts of insects had been attracted to the light. Easily the most noticeable of these was this incredibly flamboyant moth, which I unfortunately cannot identify, so moth experts, the comments section is all yours. Other insects included this smaller moth, Asota orbona, and a couple individuals of the beetle Dermolepida albohirtum. Like the Miterophallus encountered at the beginning of the day, this is a type of scarab beetle. With that, the Botanic Gardens tour, which was the main organised event for the day, was over, and it was time to return to Kuranda. But did me and my small group of amigos call it a night then? Heck no, we were having way too much fun. And upon arriving back at our cosy little lodge in Kuranda, we couldn't resist the urge to go on another little night walk.
You see the forearms, the long spines?
Yeah, the grappling spines, yeah.
Yeah, so you can tell this one's a predatory one. The more
similar deal with katydids too, I imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I was narrating this section, but evidently I was just having a bit of a chat. And trust me, it got off topic really fast. But anyway, this is a grylacridid that has just finished molting, and at the moment it's hanging upside down and letting its wings steadily expand. Of course, seeing as the wings are fully developed, or at least very soon to be, this insect is now an adult. No, Boiga irregularis, brown tree snake. Mildly venomous, but as you can see, very shy and completely inoffensive.
The night tiger?
Oh yeah, that too.
Is that what they're called? Night tiger?
I don't know. That's why I use scientific names, because...
common names are so much more fun.
yeah. Now, if I use common names, I don't get to flex on people by pronouncing
Yes.
I can't say Epipithecus trigantidorigata. Hey guys, welcome to the Carboniferous period. Here is the biggest dragonfly I've ever seen.
Put a hand in there for scale?
Yeah, that'd be handy. Oh, that was pun not intended, but yeah. Yeah, that is a big insect right there. Here is what looks like a penultimate female Ostrosalamona destructor. And the reason I say it's close to adulthood is because that ovipositor is already quite prominent, but the wings are still wing buds, so she's not an adult yet. Got ourselves another little Frictus spinosa here.
Could be any one of the species.
I think Fricta tortualina is a bit more you're taking the piss, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, right, thank you for...
The other one is like real spiny.
Yeah, no, tortualina, and...
Looks metal though.
yeah. Then there's Aberrans, which is further south.
Yeah, that's around Brizzy, isn't it?
Yeah. Alright guys, so I'm not going to bother with the narrating here, you're just going to listen to us chatting in the background, okay? Yeah.
We're experts.
Yeah. We're yeah, no, I'll leave, yeah. Female, yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, there's a heap of them.
Yeah, wait.
There's a heap of them on the tree. Fuck yes. Awesome.
Wait, hang on, I see two. Where's the
There's
heat?
another one up there. Yeah.
Oh god.
There's,
Oh,
I'd like to try some if you got enough.
Oh no, yeah.
that is
Three females there.
Oh,
absolutely incredible. It seems that in my excitement, I forgot to mention the katydid's name. So anyway, these are Mastigophoides tuberculatus, an absolutely spectacular species that I'd honestly forgotten about until I saw a bunch of them on this trip. And that brings an end to day 2. But there is still plenty more to come. And if you want to see what the rest of the trip had in store for me, then feel free to subscribe so you won't miss out on any future content. And of course, don't forget to check out some of my other uploads while you're at it. Thank you very much for watching, that is it from me, and I'll see you again very soon.